Who was Lenin? How did he come to power? How can we explain his political psychology? In this video, I am going to explain the political psychology of Lenin, who was the leader of Russian Revolution, and examine his traits which caused to the political leadership. Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov was born in 1870 in a village on the Volga River. His father was a school teacher and died in 1886 when Lenin was 16 years old. So Lenin lost his father when he was very young. According to evidences, somebody who loses their fathers from early age will have great predispositions to power, especially political power. Maybe because they are deprived from father's power and father's support and try to compensate for it. Moreover, he was born in a village and was a rustic person who tried to rise his situation through political power. Anna Lenin's sister also described her mother's traits and said she was firm, but at the same time cheerful and friendly. A woman of great capacity, she studied foreign languages and music and read a great deal. She never raised her voice, hardly ever punished. Her favorite relaxation was music, of which she was passionately fond, and which she played with great feeling, and the children liked to fall asleep and later in life to work to the sound of her playing the piano. Therefore, she was a self-disciplined person. Anna also gave us her attitude about the relationship between her parents and said, nowhere the ever between her and her husband. They always lived in harmony. Any arguments or disagreements concerning the upbringing of their children, which are always a bad thing for children. They usually discussed any doubt they had in private, and children always found a united front facing them. The childhood of Vladimir Lenin and his brothers and sisters was happy and cloudless. However, the truth of her descriptions matters. Overall, we can conclude that Lenin had a calm family. Lenin's parents have affected his personality in terms of his intellectual perspective because his father was a teacher, and teachers tend to raise their children in a way that they live with books. Besides, his mother impacted on his personality, but Lenin as a rustic boy had his own complex and lust for power. Lenin had 5 siblings, therefore his parents didn't pay attention to him. Big families usually can't meet all needs of children, and many requests of children may be suppressed. As a result, these kinds of the children try to compensate the complex by other ways, involving achieving political power, acting as a businessman, or doing scientific activities, and so on. However, Lenin was raised in a familial situation which the need for acknowledgement may be ignored, and he satisfied this psychological need by becoming a political leader. When he was 17 years old in 1887, he entered the University of Kazan in Faculty of Law and Political Science, but this tenure was very short, and he was expelled in December because of grievances to provincial inspector. After that, he wrote What is to be Done as a book. Actually, he had 2 aims of writing the book. First of all, he wanted to run a political campaign. Secondly, the intellectual book was a compensatory effort for his educational failure at university. Additionally, his brother was executed because of revolutionary activity and participating in the plot to kill Tsar Alexander III, and Lenin wrote his book in remembrance of his brother. According to psychologists, revenge is a deep emotion in humans, and individuals do anything to get revenge. Also in political arena, revengeful emotions matter. It's a profound feeling which can be influential in political activities and people's tendencies. Lenin spent his time on Marxist ideology rather than academic education. The fundamental issue of what is to be done is that the revolutionists, especially Russian revolutionists, lives in a dangerous situation. He condemned economists and terrorists because they couldn't apprehend the nature of revolutionary politics and misunderstanding the relationship between spontaneous activities of the masses and conscious revolutionary activities. From psychological perspective, he loved competition. But why? According to different research, individuals who love competition are genius and energetic, and in order to accomplish their goals, they use their talents and their energies to defeat their competitors and achieve the situation which are desirable for them. This factor is crucial for political competition, which was embedded in Lenin's mind and his attitude. Also, he was a distinguished student in a school period, which signifies his talent. During his political life, he extremely believed Marx and communism. His ideal was a society without any economic class and any state. Although he was a political activist, he had unrealistic thoughts about politics. Lenin's character was based on believing himself as a political leader. Besides, he was tidy and made a great effort for political aims and ambitions. He loved a considerable transformation and didn't like the average level of it. Tidiness and discipline were two columns for his behavior during his lifetime, which were vital to be a successful leader. Because tidiness and discipline were essential strategies which provide a timetable and a specific plan for Lenin's activity. The hidden matter is that tidiness can create a direction for brain's function and improve the mental activity because brain know when to do an activity and how to do it. Actually, discipline can classify brain's activity in the best way. Moreover, he knew Russian, French, German, and English languages. According to psychologists, learning new language can boost brain's function and expand the cognitive horizon. As a result of it, we can see the hidden aspects of a matter which are latent for others. Therefore, we can take decisions better than others and evaluate the ups and downs of any situation. Furthermore, Lenin always cycled and swam and liked doing physical exercises. This strategy helped him to be an active person who loved competition and didn't become depressed when he faced a defeat. One of the preeminent features of him was the marvelous intellectual ability. He had a huge memory and was noticeable by insatiable scientific curiosity resulting from his genius. He was a gifted person who had a natural predisposition towards cognitive activities, although he couldn't finish his academic education due to political activities. He had outstanding aptitude. About his social behavior, I should say that although Lenin was very pleasant and polite in his social relationship, he was furious and ruthless to his enemies. For example, his execution orders was huge. The ruthless attitude toward his foes stemmed from his potential for struggling and striving. However, this trait caused he became a nervous person and couldn't sleep well at nights. Nevertheless, doing various exercises made him as a healthy person. He did gymnastics and billiards, and his main hobbies were music and chess, which both of them were useful for brain's functions and flourishing creativity. Moreover, when he was a child, he learned to play piano. At that time, many children from noble families learned it, which signified Lenin's familial situation. He was from a middle-class family and didn't force to challenge to poverty. So he had a chance to flourish his talents and pursue his political activity. As I said, he played chess and visited the best chess player of his time who named Dmitri and said that Lenin played seriously and didn't like easy games, and enjoyed the good moves of the opponent. About his social traits, although he was pleasant, he tended to be abrasive with people and arguing with them. Even he liked humiliating them. But why? This character stems from his inferiority complex and striving to compensate for it. He looked at others from ascendancy. These kinds of the personalities have a great potential for revenge because when their superiority strivings face death's end, they will get revenge severely. This political emotion was predominant in Lenin's character, and in order to get revenge from Tsar resulting from killing his brother by the political system, he pursued political activities. From the early days of his leadership, his political behavior was determined by two elements, involving the fear of defeat and anxiety. And two of them were because of the fear of losing power. According to historians, he loved power and had anxiety when he felt that he was losing it. He was narcissist and strived to satisfy his lust for power. According to psychologists, children who are raised in big families cannot catch parents' attentions, and in all of their lives they try to compensate for it through achieving power in political arena and other situations. Therefore, their life's path will become the path to reach the summit of power in order to catch attentions of others instead of catching their parents' attentions. Lenin also had the same situation. He had 7 siblings and wasn't in the center of family's attentions and had the lust for power to satisfy his psychological needs. According to psychologists, he was narcissist. This feature is rooted in the inferiority feeling, and narcissism acts as a psychological shield. When he was in prison, wrote his book and believed that revolution can be only solution for the society. Additionally, the situation of Russia was ready for revolution, while the new social thoughts were rising and the scientific progress was developing, the political structure remained old and unfunctional. Its territory was vast and there wasn't a suitable infrastructure for transporting system. Although Russia was a European country, it couldn't progress like developed countries and challenged for different pitfalls. The social structure of Russia was based on the feudalism, while new ideas was coming to the society. Nevertheless, aristocracy and absolutism were predominant in Russia. Therefore, any protest was suppressed by the government and there wasn't any social freedom for political activity and political reform. As a result, Russia was left behind compared to the USA, England, and France. So there was a fertile situation for revolution, and Lenin was its leader. He could change his behavior on the basis of situations. While he was so rigid in a situation, he could show his flexibility in another situation. He hated old Russia and tried to have a revolutionary country based on the Karl Marx attitudes. Marx believed that business owners oppress workers and make huge financial interests for themselves. Marx predicted workers will come to power, and Lenin was surrounded by intellectuals and knew how to speak. Psychologically, all of his life was based on the order. He always kept his desk very tidy with sharp pencils. During revolutionary time, people began to rule themselves, and in 1917, they came together, which was the genius of Lenin to be able to lead people, and said, "We want what you want." Actually, he was a political strategist. When he took the power, he moved forward by slogans. However, underneath of his slogans, there was a brutal psychology. He spent his last month unmoved and couldn't speak, and because of a stroke died on 1924. For more ideas on the psychology of politicians, make sure you subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon and like icon. Please write your comments and tell me your favorite politicians to make videos about them. Thank you for watching this video.